I don't necessarily enjoy being the guy wearing cleats in the bounce house, but somebody's got to keep a firm footing around here. You get what I'm saying? If you don't, another one of these ought to set you straight. Mods, modifications, modifiers. For the uninitiated, there's a subset of PC gamer culture that involves diving into the files of a video game and changing up the default experience. This goes further than the usual tweaks most people are familiar with. Sensitivity, audio, gamma. That's child's play. You want to have a boss fight with Macho Dragon Randy Savage whilst riding atop your faithful steed Tommy Wiseau in Skyrim? Modders can fix that. You want the highly anticipated Fallout 76 to not be a dumpster fire upon release? Modders will fix it. From outrageously whimsical to outrageously useful, modders are out here doing God's work. Not any major God's work, mind you. These are minor demi-deities known for their mischief as much as their generosity with willing participants. So the mainstream audience was never in danger of coming into contact with one. But I hear a rustling in Johnny AAA's pocket. The power of the modders is being harnessed to create, repair, and actively maintain bigger titles. Firstly, I have a confession to make. I am apathetic to the modding scene. There, I said it. I don't partake in the tweaking due to my PC ineptitude worrying me I'll download a virus or erase something crucial. More importantly, I want to experience someone's artistic vision in every artistic medium. It's a unique experience to be able to see someone's work and take in their point of view through writing, through music, through games, through etc. Once I've dipped my fingers into it, I feel I have tainted the artistic vision. That's the soft side of me. The cynical side of me demands accountability. And the modding scene uses itself as a scapegoat far too frequently to protect video games from my righteous indignation. I tell you, nothing ruins a firm finger pointing and a how dare you, like an innocent tweaker pleading, it's good if you modify it. It is not good if I modify it, innocent tweaker. It is better if I modify it in the same way that pulling a hair out of your food makes it relatively better for consumption. But it ain't good that your food's coming with hair in the first place. And if you don't raise a fuss, or allow the more fuss-prone to raise a fuss, this restaurant will feel less pressured to provide hair-free products. You gotta stand up for yourself or they're gonna assume you like the hair. I don't like the hair. And I don't like the concept of integrating the hard work of diehards to enable overreaching promises from eccentric developers. Overreaching promises, now that's a nice way to say false advertising. Yes, it is a touching story that after No Man's Sky's historical train wreck of a release, Sean Murray and his team learned to step away from the media. They put their nose to the grindstone and they developed the game into, well, a game. Wasn't really much of one to begin with. But now it actually functions. And it delivers something within the vicinity of what the overeager developer was initially overpromising. And you might think, lesson learned, but he's at it again, saying his new game is the kind of project that even if we had 1,000 people working on it, it'd still seem impossible. Is that so, Sean? You see, Sean Murray is the kind of guy Peter Molyneux wishes he could overpromise he could be. Without consequences, these kinds of people pop up left, right, and center. The wrong lesson to be learned here is to promise harder. Promise with everything you've got and then promise even harder. And if you do it right, the pre-sale hype will more than cover all development costs, a few class action lawsuits, and you'll still have enough left over for a new Lambo. Meanwhile, the modders will toil away to fix it. But that's enough sour for this amaretto. I don't have a problem. I can admit I am a little more disgruntled than the average consumer. But not because I'm a critic. It's because I walk the shady alleys quite frequently. I peruse the dark stalls in the early access market. Yeah, there's hidden gems and great deals to be had, but it's no place to raise a kid. You gotta be able to sniff out the empty promises. And I'm getting some false positives from Johnny AAA. I'm not too sure whether it's the paranoia keeping my nose on edge, or if my hope is blinding me from the shady underside funk. I want to believe in CD Projekt Red. They recently released a free, full next-gen upgrade for The Witcher 3. The modder elves dutifully fiddling with the game's graphics, quality of life, and bugs have now become part of the official experience. And were reimbursed for it, might I add. And as a further show of goodwill, CD Projekt Red have included a list of supported mods that I will not touch, but it's the thought that counts. Everyone wins in this symbiotic relationship. The original developers, the modders, and the consumers who spare no thought for either. But how can I believe in this CD Projekt Red when it's the same CD Projekt Red that exaggerated the contents of Cyberpunk to the point of being sued for false advertisement? $1.85 million to settle a lawsuit is a drop in the bucket compared to over $300 million made from first-day sales, made from overpromising. AAA's slowly been creeping in on the practice of post-launch development, and they are pulling it off far more successfully than their indie counterparts by attracting droves of faithful file tweakers willing to dot the I's, cross the T's, and provide the content someone else promised. Now, I don't blame the modders. Plenty of developers started off as modders. It's a genuine way to get your foot in the door of the industry. But if there's always someone willing to do the work for free, what incentive does the industry have to allow the rest of the leg or the body to follow through? Once again, Nintendo's staunch disapproval of community practices gets my respect. Of course, I see the mistakes in the mud for not allowing harmless file tweaking fun, but it goes two ways. Nintendo can't take advantage of modders if they don't allow modding to begin with, which is a tragedy because we're missing out on the public shaming of Pokémon Scarlet and Violet. While I don't condone or condemn the modding shenanigans, I am thoroughly amused by hobbyists showing up the big boys. I love the thought that a gamer went renegade after being forced to contend with Midnight Sun's performance issues on launch. Somehow, the secret to better frames per second was unlocked by disabling the launcher 2K forces upon its player base. The schadenfreude is utterly palpable. This right here, this chaotic neutral tweaker, is the image of modders I romanticize. An adventurous force minding its own business, modding Doom 64 into as many games and appliances as possible. And when the moment presents itself, modders spring to aid and nurture games deemed worthy of their blessings, such as The Witcher 3. And when the other moment presents itself, modders lead the cries of shame whenever a AAA company dares to peddle its unfinished releases in the market square. That's the kind of fixing we need from the modding community. Stay the course, dear modders. Don't let AAA take advantage of your altruism, your resentment, or your curiosity. Mods do make games better, and modders will always fix broken games. But there's a certain standard that should be met first and foremost from AAA. Otherwise, they're going to start assuming we like our games broken, and they're going to try to make us pay for the pleasure of piecing it back together.